This video is going to be an instruction on, it's the third video in a series of 4 that explains the basic understanding of the grand staff and how to use the guide notes. Last week we did the video on who the G clef and the F clef are. Remember, G clef, also known as treble. And then we have F staff, F clef, also known as bass clef. And remember, we use those to help us read the G in the treble staff, which is the G above middle C, and read the F in the F clef, which is the F below middle C. All right, before we get into actually reading the notes, just want to go over a couple little reading things. That every space and every line on your staff is a key on your piano. So this note goes with that key. The space goes with the note. The next note. So every line, space, line, space, line, space goes stepping up one white key at a time. When we're talking today, don't worry about the black keys. So as you're stepping up, going from E to F to G to A, you're stepping up on the staff. Now, if you're stepping down, then you're going this way, getting lower on the keyboard as you're moving the notes down. See that? Probably one of the most difficult things in reading music. We're used to reading from left to right. That's the way we've always done it since we started reading. So we still read music left to right. So when we're reading, stepping up, and we're going higher on the music, we are going this way on your keyboard. You are going A, B, C, D, E, and F, and so forth and so on. When you're going this way, we're still reading from left to right. We're still reading this way. But the notes now are going down, which means that on the keyboard, we're playing this way. So we're going opposite of the way we're reading. And our letters, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, you're going backwards. Okay? So stepping down, we go backwards in our alphabet. Stepping forwards, we go forward. And when we say forwards, that's just up. It's higher. When it's going down, we say backwards because it means that we're going back a note to the left, going to a lower note. So going up for now, so going higher to the right is going up, going lower to the left is going down. So we go back to the F clef and the G clef. And we know from last week that this is a G. And we know this is an F. We've also just learned that when you move up to the next space, we move up one key on the piano, which means we move one letter name up. So if this is G, one step up is going to be A. If we step up again, we know that's going to be a B. And then here comes our next guide note, C. So we can figure out B, if we want to, by starting on G and then saying A, so that's B. Or we can start on C and go backwards, one letter name. Either way you look at it, by knowing those two notes, you can figure out those two notes. We have middle C down here. Okay? So if we step down, going lower from G, we now, what's one letter name down from G? F. The F backwards, the F getting closer to middle C. Step down again. We now have E. And remember, this line that's the middle C line is a line note, but we can have a space note. And that space note is going to be D, C. Now, does this come instantaneous? Is this super easy? No. It takes practice. But when you finally get it, it frees you up to read anything you want to read. One of the things that I want you to do in practicing this on your music, I want you to never, ever, ever write in the letter names. I tell my students I'm going to get them if they come back with letter names written in. Because we're not talking about letters. We're not talking about words and letters. We're talking about a language that is sound. So even though we've assigned a name to that note, that's a pitch. That's a piece, that's a sound. That's really not a letter. You will eventually get to the point, you don't have to do the translating. You don't have to think G, G clef, G. Or I know this is G, so that's F. It'll begin to come more automatic. Here we have F. And so to step up from F, we go forwards in our alphabet. F, the next letter is G. The next letter is A. And again, we have the middle C line. So we have B. The thing you will know is that for the B and the D, they don't give you the line. They just put it on top like that. You can also go down. So if you're on F, who's the note? Who's the letter below F? It's E. Who's the letter below E? It's D. And now we're back to another guide note, C. So the guide notes will help you figure out every note that you want to learn. And yeah, at the beginning, it's really good when you're learning your pieces to start by saying, just going through and identifying all the notes. Say them out loud. Make sure you know all of the notes. Again, don't write them in. That is bad. You get used to seeing the letter names, you will never learn to read the notes. All those little fancy tricks, fast, quick read, yeah, they might work quickly in the beginning, but you're going to hit a brick wall when you want to go on and play something more difficult, and you can't read it, and you can't find the little cheap things to do it. So the best thing to do is just buckle down and learn to read the notes. The last video in this series will be next week. So hit like and subscribe if you want to make sure that you don't miss that next video. And it's going to be we'll talk about the high C's. We'll be talking about, because notes just don't step up and step down. So we'll be talking about jumping around on the staff and how to use the guide notes again to figure that out. And then that will include our series of Introduction to the Grand Staff and Guide Notes. Thanks. Bye.